Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Adam. I'm actually doing some spring work on my car right now. I'm actually removing this and some other things. But I just bought this kit on eBay, which is the Mercedes-Benz spring compressor. Been looking at a few videos online to figure out like, hey, what do I need to do to get it off? And they haven't been so good. So I just wanted to show you real quick what you need and what comes in the pack and all that. Alright, so what you have here, like I said, my kit was only about $49.99 plus tax, all that type of stuff, free shipping from eBay. So what you get is something that's kind of like this. This is the shaft that actually will go inside here to compress the spring. This one is, like I said, it's not really solid, but the way the design is, how that thing is right there, when you turn it, it will clamp onto it really well. So it actually does work. So it doesn't feel super solid, but it gets the job done if you're just doing your car, maybe one more time do it, nothing like that. They have one that is like $700 to $1,000, but you definitely know that's for making money with. All right, so here's the shaft. Here's what it'll be locking down and bringing the coil spring down. The ones on the outside are actually for bigger springs. They do not fit like the W124, 140, all that type of stuff. They do not fit these. So what you have is these two right here. I just marked one as the top, one as the bottom, because they're a little bit different. So as you see here, the one at the bottom, it has this kind of design that's completely open, and then the one that goes on the top is not open, because right here, as you see here and here, is where this little clamp, or kind of like teeth, will lock in place. So you push it all the way up, twist it, and then lock it down into place. All right, so before I get started, also this end right here of that, to turn it, you're definitely not going to be able to do it by hand, maybe just to get it started, but definitely not by compressing the spring. This is, you probably can't see it that well in there, but this right here is a 19, and I do have my air tools. You can hear hissing in the background. I have that, so it's all ready. So the ends here are usually a 19. If you get the kit off of eBay, it's usually a 19 millimeter in order to twist that off. But like I said, remember, it's good just to get it started by hand, but to compress these coil springs down, you're going to put like one here kind of thing, and all of this is going to have to be sandwiched down completely, touching each other in order to get them off, because these springs, if you can see mine's right here, they're really tall. All right, well, I hope you guys can kind of hear me a little bit. Like I said, here's the coil spring, and then I've marked it. This is the one that goes on the top, because it has kind of like the openings, plus with the teeth you can lock it into. So you can just choose anywhere to put it at. Oh, and make sure when you do install them that they're the top one is facing down, so the lip is down, because it's going to grab and the coil spring is going to sit right inside there. So just put it on there. All right, I marked this is the bottom, because remember, this edge here is going to slip and lock right inside there. So make sure that's on the bottom, and then your lip is facing upwards, because remember, it's going to kind of like sandwich down on the springs. So it doesn't really matter too much where you really place it at, because you're not going to have a lot of room down here and not up here as well, because it's just too tight, especially the ones that I have that are on the car. So you basically want them like that, position them anywhere. They're definitely not going to stay into place, because everything's kind of loose and wobbly and all that type of stuff while you're working with it. So you have to kind of put your hands there in order to get that to stay while you're compressing it. And remember, once again, they're 19. Go through my tools real quick. I have one of those Mercedes-Benz ones. This one kind of helped too, but it just came standard years ago with the car, so it's kind of hard to find these. All right, so you want to make sure you extend it as far as that it can go. I'm not sure how good you can see this, but turning it, mine's actually already broke, so it just lets you know it's worth $50. You get what you pay for, but it's just broke with a little clamp to keep the sleeve into place. So you can extend it as far as you can get it to go. That's easy. And you're gonna have to stick it inside of the shaft. There's a hole inside here to work with, which is actually perfect. So you're gonna have to jiggle it, work it around, because it's not able to see because it's kind of dark and all that type of stuff, to get it to go inside from the bottom here. And then you kind of push it up, turn it till you get into the plates. You can move these around a little bit, it's no problem with that. But like I said, just make sure once you install it and it's kind of locked into place, make sure this is already touching the bottom plate before you start compressing it, because if you don't, it will just be a lot of turning before this stuff actually comes down, so it won't be working right. All right, so hopefully you can see it, just kind of give a demonstration and show you what's going on. See, the plate's already moved already, but that's okay. All right, so it's got through. Go to your next plate. Usually kind of dark so you can't see perfectly. All right, got it to go through that time. Then you kind of look on the top, and then you can see where to twist. All right, so I'm gonna try to bring you guys a little bit closer. If you can kind of see, can you see underneath there? Here's where that is, the bolt, and it's inside of there. And then, oh man, I'm trying my best. You can see how it's inside that plate there. And you go all the way up the, I'm not gonna say that word, all the way up to the top. And if you can kind of, little teeny bit see inside there where it's kind of locked at, it's kind of twisted and locked into place. And if you need to have more room to extend, it will come down, come up, I'm sorry. As we look down inside there, it has some room to remove the spring out. So that's actually pretty good. So make sure it's locked inside of there, in place, and push it up a little bit to make sure that that will stay perfectly into place. So I have mine locked into place, which means it's inside the little grooves that are inside there that I was telling you about. And now at the bottom here, you can tighten it by So I got my brand new coil spring inside of there, and I haven't pulled it all the way off or out, but just wanted to do a clip to show you, just make sure everything is seated right. See how that tip of the end right here is seated correctly inside of the lower control arm, and that will tend to move side to side when you're twisting it off to release the coil spring into the cup up here. I think that's what it's called. All right, so there you go. I have probably about a few more turns and everything is right in place. And as you can see, if it needs to have a little bit more room to come out, like once you take it all the way out, there's some room on the top here. You'll see the tools actually